Hey, what's up, universe? Welcome to episode 19 of It's a Choice. Thanks for joining me today. So, today's episode is going to be about appearances, and it's going to tie into the previous episode on choosing your identity. So, today's episode is actually inspired by something that happened to me, what I would consider still to be today because I haven't gone to sleep yet. So, it happened on Monday, February 15th. And there was an opportunity presented to me that appeared. There was an opportunity that appeared, right? And that's where this word comes from. This is why I want to do this episode. And the opportunity is for it's a job opportunity. So I'm not sure. I don't remember everything I said in all of my podcasts. My background is primarily, professionally speaking, is in IT. And a recruiter reached out to me about an opportunity. So this opportunity appeared, right? Appeared on my doorstep, appeared in my lap, that kind of a thing. And it seems like a very fantastic, it appears, the opportunity that appears to be a fantastic opportunity. So it got me thinking, and this is going to be kind of like perhaps a recursive kind of thought in a way. So the opportunity appeared to me, and then I got to thinking before I started recording this podcast, how do I appear to the opportunity? Meaning, how do I appear to the recruiter? And apparently I appeared well enough on paper for him to reach out to me. And the question then becomes, how do I appear to the client or the end, the actual employer, how do I appear to them? And it got me thinking too about some of these recent purchases that I've done for myself, right? So I've kind of gone metrosexual a little bit and here recently and allowed myself to buy some things that kind of changed my appearance in some regards, but not I wouldn't say drastically, right? It's not like plastic surgery or, something like that, but it's just things like, like teeth whitening or exfoliation or something like that, right? But it's new things to me that on the surface change my appearance to some degree, right? And so it just got me thinking about this relationship of appearing, right? There's always this you and the other, or you and whatever you are relating to, be it the situation or a person or whatever it is, but like, how does that thing appear to you? And then on the flip side, how do you appear to it? And it got me thinking about the double slit experiment, which I believe I've mentioned before. Once, it goes into the quantum physics, and once something is observed, it changes and collapses all other potentials, right? So how do you appear to that situation, and how does that situation appear to you? And it just got me thinking about the identity episode and choosing our identity and being and existing. Well, the first thing that seems to happen, right, is things appear. And we don't always, but I think we'd all be hard pressed to say that we don't judge, or that we don't start to interpret, that we don't start to get into some predefined program in our mind based on appearances. How do things look on first blush, and I know all of us have ran into that in varying degrees, one form or another, of like just based on appearances. And how does that situation appear to us, and how do we appear to it? And it just got me thinking about the relationship is all. And then, I was looking at words, of course, like to go along with this, and it got me thinking about a song too. There's two songs really. So one is by the Republic Tigers, right? Buildings and Mountains. And it just has the word arise in it. And if you look at synonyms for the word appearance, arise is one of those words. And it's just one of these things that's just kind of like arise means, as you know, like just, it's a slow kind of manifestation. It comes in gradually, so to speak. And then the other song that it made me think of is Renegades by the Ex-Ambassadors. And the reason it made me think of that is because there's some words in there like outlaw and mutineer, and of course, renegade. And those are things that I feel like I can appear like, and then I also identify with on some levels, as a change agent. Or like there's a joke with one of my friends, Rachel, about me being an outlaw. And she identifies, or at least she used to, more with the word gangster, right, when she was younger. And so with me and the word outlaw, it's definitely more of like rules, like I'll bend those or I'll break them or I'll see where the cracks are in the rules. Anybody that knows me knows that I do this. Boundary, I just push boundaries or I ignore them just to kind of see what the consequences are. One of the first questions I ask when somebody's like, don't do this or that, I'll be like, or what? Like what? Like what is the consequence? I'm always looking for the consequence first because I'm evaluating whether or not I want to, take on the cost of ignoring or disregarding or pushing the boundary. I'm always willing to pay to some degree. So I appear as that, and I identify as that. And so when I was thinking about this job opportunity and how I appear to the recruiter and then to the company that he's recruiting for, what do I appear like to them? And it got me thinking about my identity, because even though things are not always as they appear, right? For sure. We've all ran into that as well. So that's a surface level thing. Like things look or appear a certain way. And very often, they're not as they appear, or we start to interpret things and then we realize our interpretation is wrong, right? And so it changes the appearance of that thing. So I got to thinking about, what Jim Fortin also said about how life doesn't test us, it reflects us. And it got me thinking about appearances. And when something shows up and it appears a certain way, and we run into our stories and our beliefs and our interpretations and how those things, how we emotionally react to those things, how we react to those appearances. And then back to the job, I was like, well, I got to think about my identity, right? What do I identify as, so that way I can actually embody this and appear the way that I want to appear. It's like when I went to go lease my Lexus, right? I specifically went and dressed a certain way. I wanted to appear a certain way. It's kind of like when you go out to the club or you go for a job interview or anything else, like just whatever situation or circumstance you can think of where appearances can influence outcomes, right? We naturally are aware of how appearance can influence our experience. And so to kind of like fill that out so that it's not like, the word that came to mind or the term or phrase that came to mind is false appearance, but to like embody that to like true to form, so to speak, the identity piece. Like if you really choose that identity, then as you appear, it'll be like your appearance. How do I see? This is where I get a little lost on it. So like you embody this identity, you choose this identity, and then you can really flesh out or like crystallize that appearance. That appearance won't necessarily shift in it. I don't know. I'm getting a little lost on that. I apologize. I was just thinking about my own identity and appearance in this particular scenario with the job, because the opportunity in this scenario is really allowing me to step into and own this identity of, it has to do around my worth and my value that I bring, so to speak, right? So on paper, I appear a certain way. And internally, like I would identify with a lesser like worth, so to speak. And on paper, it's very valuable. And so my identity that I'm embodying now, that I'm choosing, is views myself as a higher worth individual. And I'm matching that on paper. Like I'm not falsifying anything. The way that I appear on paper isn't false. It's just that my identity wasn't in alignment with how others saw me, how I appeared to others. So that relationship was out of balance, right? Like in the sense of how I appeared to others versus how I appeared to myself. And so this opportunity that came to me today that appeared is allowing me to embody and start to step into this identity so I can bring that appearance on both sides, that reflection, into alignment rather than having it be out of balance. So that is what this episode's really just kind of about, is just about the appearance of things and then tie it into the identity and the relationship between you and the other. It's always going to be something external and then internal, like you just like I had with myself, how I appeared on paper versus how I saw myself internally, or how you appear to somebody else and how they appear to you. So anyway, I apologize in some regards that this was kind of a shifty, not very clear in some manner episode, but I appreciate you guys listening. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up and just want to put that out there for food for thought. And thank you again for joining me. Love you guys, and go live an inspired life so you can inspire others to live their inspired life. Because at the end of the day, living an inspired life is a choice. All right. Love you guys.